All right, today is John's last full day here. So we've cleared off the table a little bit. We've done some mock diagrams of a chicken coop. It's going to look a lot like the electrical closet, but we're kind of in dire need of one of these because my dad mailed me 15 guineas. And they were just hatched like the day before I got them in the mail in the post office. So I've got a little heat pad in there. I tried the heat lamp, but that was too hot for them. They like the heat pad. But now they're big enough, like 3 days later, they are going to get transferred to the chick pen, and the chicks are going to go to the chicken pen. So before we can do that, we have to build a chicken coop. And as a model for this, it's going to be kind of like I've done on a previous project where I built this electrical closet here. We're going to start by building just a square or rectangular box. This is 2 by 2. We're going to build a 4 foot by 8 foot rectangular box, but we're going to do the roof kind of like this one where it has vents at the top and it's sloped. So we got extra plywood for that. When we were in town on Saturday, we went and got some extra 2x4s just in case. I have a pile of them, but we didn't know if we would have enough. So extra 2x4s. And most importantly, we got a bunch of plywood here. So we have 7 sheets of plywood. Going to have one on the back, one on the front, cut one in half for the sides, one on the bottom. For the top, we got 2 because we're going to have a sloped roof. It's going to be a little larger than the chicken coop. We got our tools kind of set up over here. But right now, I built this big old chicken coop. I only have 1 chicken in it. And she only goes in here to lay eggs and at night. So all this space is being unused. It's wired in. It's got the bird netting on top. So these chicks, little tiny chicks from Tractor Supply, have gotten so big. It's hard to see them. I'm going to give them some treats. They really like the Fly Fiesta treats. So now you can see there's 2 white ones, 2 black ones, 3 guinea, and 3 of those big red ones. And they've gotten so big. So they're going to get transferred to this big pen right next door. And those 15, well, was 15, it's 14 as of this morning. But the 14 guinea are going to come into this chick pen, which is predator proof. So that is our project for this morning. We've already, there's rain in the forecast for this afternoon, so we put the top on the Jeep. That has been off all week. We had one surprise rainstorm that we had to rush down and put a tarp on the Jeep, but this has been wonderful to drive around and just get the airflow going, take it off-road in. But we put the top on because rain's supposed to come around 2 p.m. today. But along with putting the top on the Jeep, we cleared off all of the other project work stuff, put everything that can't get wet away. And we cleared off this table in order to use it as our workbench. So we've got our tools ready. We got some woods here. We got our plans on this piece of paper. So I'm going to set this up from a distance and we can record as we build some of this. One thing we are going to have to do, the fence right now is just a little tiny gate. And we can't bring full sheets of plywood into the pen yet. So this is the gate that I go in and out to go get the eggs, bring food and water in, and let the one chicken out every day. But above this is chicken wire, so we're going to be cutting the chicken wire so that we can actually get in there and build the chicken coop. So that's on our project list as well. But that's it for the intro. We'll set it up and record some work that we're going to do to build it. Alright, we're starting the work on the frame for the bottom piece of plywood, the 4x8. Alright, this is the floor of the chicken coop. We got a 4-foot by 8-foot frame and one sheet of plywood screwed down to it. So we did earlier, John helped me cut a hole in this fence so that we can actually get these bigger pieces in. But the way we made the gate is we split it directly in the middle of this up to this sturdy part of the wire, folded those back, and then I can just get a little piece of that wire that comes from up here and works kind of like a gate. So at least now we can get the base in there and our other 4-foot by 8-foot pieces of plywood. So I'm going to set you back here and you can watch us load that. Alright, we got the plywood in the chicken coop. We had to move Miss Hen's box. She was in there. She had just laid a fresh egg, so John moved that out of the way. But we have the flooring upside down because we're going to put 2-foot legs in the corners. So we have to head back to the work table and cut us 2-foot sections of 2x4. I did pick the roughest 2x4 because these are just legs, and so like you see how this has some imperfections in it. It's going to be perfectly fine as a leg. So we're going to set up and cut this. Alright, we've got a new angle set up here. We have to cut this one 8-foot 2x4 into 4 2-foot sections for the feet. And we're also going to assemble the same frame like we just did for the bottom. Since we're at our workstation, we're going to assemble that in this same clip. And then we'll reset the camera for when we bring that over to the chicken coop. We're going to move the camera down there. We'll give you an intro. We, as engineers, we were sitting down and we're like, we should do it this way, and then John had a good idea, so we'll show you more when we get down there. Alright, so we're going to bring all the pieces that we just cut up there down here. We're going to put on the legs first and start put the legs on, flip it over, and then start putting the siding on. Alright, so this is the GoPro stand. We're kind of blocking the view with our first end that we put on, but also the battery died. Wind's blowing. We're expecting rain this afternoon. We hear thunder, so we're trying to beat the storm. But what we've done so far is we have the base, we put the legs on, flipped it over. Now we have cinder blocks underneath to help hold the side pieces level, and we'll move these to each side as we put on the siding on this. But John and I came up with a little trick here, and we're going to show you. This is something anybody can use.
Yeah. So Dave was saying let's put a 2x4 in the corner to go and help stabilize it. And I said let's go one further and just put one underneath. So now we have this one in, and when we put the full frame on, it'll just rest right here and we can easily screw it in.
Yes, and that's going to work so good. So this one, we'll just tack one screw from the back side.
Yep.
and then tack one screw when we put on this big 8-foot piece to kind of sturdy things because the wind's picking up. But John had the great idea of just lowering it to right where we need it. Then we don't even have to take these out, and the frame is going to sit perfectly on there. So that's 2 engineers talking it out, working it out, and I think it's going to work pretty good. So we're going to set you up on the other side next to the little chicks here. Sun's out, but if it starts to rain, we're going to be in a hurry to get this at least stabilized, because we still need to put this frame on the top. Once we got one side up, we're going to get 2 other sides up, put the frame on, and then put up the last side. So John's working on that. I'm going to move the camera.
Under the boughs where the shadows play, the wind hums songs at the break of day. Whispering pines, secrets untold, carrying tales only the forest holds. Moonlight spills through the velvet dark, etching patterns, leaving its mark. The roots stretch deep, the earth's gentle sigh, a lullaby sung to the open sky. Oh, whispering pines, sing me your tune, caught in the rhythm of the stars and the moon. Teach me the language of rustling leaves, stories that linger on the breath of the breeze.
So we have 3 of the 4 sides on. John had a great idea to put the frame up first before we put on this big side so that we at least had movement. Now for the 4th side, we're going to have to scoot everything that way. But this is sturdy now. The rain is starting to sprinkle. We got some thunderstorms coming our way, so at least now we have a 4-foot by 8-foot chicken coop. No roof yet, but this is what we have so far, and we did put the cinder blocks underneath to help hold the sides, so we can take those all out right now. But it's raining, so I am putting this under the chicken shelter. So enjoy the little. By 4 that I didn't want to use on the chicken coop because it's split on the end, but we have found out it's perfect for 1-foot segments, which will go help us for the top of the roof, because right before the rain hit, we have a whole chicken coop done. It's raised 2 feet off the ground. On the stilts, which is not really 2 feet because there's a 2x4 that it's screwed into, but it's close to 2 feet. I was going to leave the back end open, but for durability reasons, with the storm coming, it's all a closed off block right now, but with no roof. So our goal now is to I have to be able to get in here to clean it out. So we're going to cut a door here and then split it down the middle, put hinges on both sides. Then I can get in there to clean it out and then cut a chicken hole right here with a ramp down to the ground so that they can get in and out. The nesting boxes will eventually build, but John probably won't be here for that. But I could do that on my own. This one would have been really hard to do on my own, so I'm very blessed and thankful that he helped me do this, because at least now I have the sturdy box, and maybe now that the rain's gone, we might get a roof on it tonight. But that is our next goal. Cut a hole in there so that we can get in there and put a roof on it. So we're going to work on that next. Now. Alright. We have cut some pieces for the front and the back in order to make the roof. But in order to get in there and screw them down, we need some sort of access. So what we're going to do now is mark out where the door for people cleaning and the door where the chicken can go in and out. We're going to mark those out and cut those out now. So I'm going to set this up on a tripod and record from it.
Woke up late, missed the morning glaze, but the sunlight hits in so many ways. Grabbed my shades and hit the streets, no plan, chasing vibes like seashells in the sand. Radio hums a tune I can't name, crooked smiles, crashing waves, no shame. Flip my phone, toss it in my bag. Today's for us, no time to lag. Feel the world just turning slow. Let the breeze tell us where.
Alright, let's see if you're recording. You are. Duke, say hi. He says hi. What's going on? So, what we did, we put chalk lines for the door that we're about to cut out. We had a discussion when you were watching us on fast motion. We were talking about it, but what we're going to do is cut out the human door, which will be really big, and then we're going to cut the little chicken door out of the middle of the right side of the human door. So our next step is to cut along the blue chalk lines, which we measured the top and the bottom ones. We want them to be about 3 inches, because a 2x4 is 3.5 inches. So when I close the door, it's going to hit a 2x4, but it also has the stability of the original piece of plywood. The up and down, we just kind of measured what can I reach. If I open the doors, what can I reach with my arm all the way to the back of the chicken coop. So, but we did want some extra plywood there for stability. So that's how we picked the lines. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and cut those. So this will be another fast motion distant shot. while. We gotta go. So here's what we just did. We cut a big old hole in here, and then the hole that we cut out, we cut in half. So these are going to be our doors. We have to go get the hardware for this. 1 or 2 hinges per side, and a latch in the middle should do. And then we'll cut a small hole in either this door, maybe more likely this door because it's right in front of the entrance, but that would be for the chickens. So done. We have to go back to our shop over here. We're gonna cut 2 4x8 pieces of plywood down to 4x6. So you get to watch. Alright, so you were watching all that on fast forward and you didn't catch our conversation, but what we decided was we've already cut these previously in the last slide, so it's going to be a lot easier if we go ahead and screw these on now from the top side, because it's the chicken coop is only 6 feet tall, so we're working under or it's
net's up there.
The net's up there, so we're going to screw these on before we go and put the top on. So that's the whole conversation you missed. You didn't miss out on much. So
yeah, and the idea being that it's screwed in from the top, and then from there we just put it up to the frame and screw in from the sides this way.
yes,
And then we can raise and lower to go and get the right angle from there.
because we've already put the back pieces on, which is the top of these boards that we've cut at a 5-degree angle. Those are screwed on the back. So the back is going to have a 5-degree angle no matter what. We have to make sure that the front has a 5-degree angle with not many gaps. So that's what we're planning, and we're going to screw those on and then carry this board through the little gate and put it on top.
Pieces ready. We're going to go and put them on one at a time. We're going to start with, from the direction that we're looking at, the right side, because the left side is going to be a little bit easier to screw in from outside, so we can stand inside after putting it on.
Because the hill is slanted down.
And the hill is slanted down, and it's also moved into that corner.
Yes.
So we're gonna put it on. We're going to screw down the back, and we're going to get the front to the right angle.
Zoom in on the legs that we just put on and explain why we did this.
Yeah, we're gonna screw it into the back, and then we're gonna use the legs that we screwed on here. Yep, thank you, Dave. We're gonna use those legs to go and level it out and hold up the front at the correct angle that we want, and then screw it into the frame. All right, let's get into it.
All right, we didn't do a final video of the chicken coop because we were running out of daylight, and the GoPro battery died again. It died a couple times. We recorded over 5 hours on this thing, so just giving you an update on the daytime here. We built this ramp so that the chicks can get in and out. They didn't figure that out yesterday. They slept underneath, but I've seen them climbing up it today, so I know they can get up there. So hopefully tonight they go in. Mama hen came up in here and slept up in the coop. But we have 2 hinges on both doors. We tried one in the middle. You can see our holes there. But this door is so heavy, we needed 2. So 2 on that door and 2 on that one. And then I just put this latch on today. But we got the latch, and then the door opens good with the chicken door. And the other door, they swing really nice, which is good. But in here, this is Mama Hen. This is where she comes and lays her eggs. And then I put in this roosting perch yesterday. I haven't screwed it in yet, but it's sitting on some coffee buckets. But at least I think Mama Hen roosted over here last night. But that's where the hens can jump up on there and roost. I'll probably add another one, but I need to cut out some holes either in the back or on the sides, depending how much space I have. This nesting box is just temporary. That's what she was using, so I need to build nesting boxes in here. But yeah, that's the chicken coop. It's nice and sturdy. It's got a big roof with about 1.5 foot overhang in the front so the rain doesn't get in there, but it also has the airflow up here, so it's pretty sturdy. I do have to put some siding up on top to help with the water, and I need to paint this whole thing with some Thompson water sealer. So still a little bit more to do, but this is working great. I'm hoping the chicks here find out how to, they're chasing bugs. And then Yeah, the little chicks are in the cage next door, the guineas. I did find out that they are still too small. They are able to go right through the chicken wire, so they're back in their tote until they get just a little bigger. But that wraps up this video. I'm going to add it into the other clips, but looks good.